Hey folks, this is the other side of the spectrum to the last couple of videos where I showed you guitars that come in fantastic shape. These do not. You may be aware of the Alan Eden guitar company. For a while I was buying the wrench guitars from them, which they have discontinued, and also one or two of their electrics, including the 1987 model that you might remember from an earlier video. And I still have one of the natural spalted finishes on those. They're very cool neck-through guitars. And they had a few red dyed ones as well that I sold off. But a very competent guitar company. They've changed a little bit though. They've started selling more traditional shaped guitars, so a lot of Tellys, Les Paul style guitars, and they've really gone heavily, as a lot of companies have, Guitar Fetish, even Rondo and others, a lot of eBay sellers as well. They've gone really heavily into parts, guitar bodies and necks, because a lot of people like putting together their own guitars. A lot of hobbyists like to buy, a kit and put them together. It's become very, very popular. So they've changed. I haven't been buying as many of their guitars, but anyway, they claim to have bought out a warehouse from a defunct brand, and you've seen these before, but I don't think you've seen this shape. These are Tommy guitars. I know nothing about Tommy. It says on the label, designed in Spain. They're not made in Spain. They're designed in Spain. The company was obviously Spanish, but they are made in Asia, or definitely China, or one of the Asian countries. And these are being blown out on their Facebook pages at low prices, but these particular ones are solid top, so I got another lot of them, I think 8 of them. And I really have to work on these. I mean, when I get them out of the box, a lot of times they're backbowed, so the guitars don't play at all, and I have to put the relief in, let them sit for a few days, come back, really grind on the fret edges. I mean, they've been sitting in warehouses, I think, for years, and you can tell they've been forgotten about, and a company bought them out and has been selling them off. They're reasonably well made. You can see the rosette's kind of nice, and it is a solid spruce top with a laminate back and sides. I mean, if it said Yamaha here or Alvarez, you wouldn't bat an eye, because it's a very traditional looking guitar. There's nothing exceptional about it, and it's not poorly made at all. It's just that they are in a state. This one here, I've got to play. The saddle's a bit high, which is alright, because that gives it tone. Some people like a tall saddle anyway. A lot of luthiers tend to like tall saddles. So I'm having to do a lot of setup on these and make them playable, and then I'm going to sell them really, really cheap, probably give 1 or 2 away. So these, you can't look these up, there's no information on them, and even if you could find it, the company no longer exists. It's probably an OEM company. They probably had so many hundreds or thousands made. They went out of business, and they sat around for years, and then they decided to sell them off to a salvage company, or to a company like Alan Eden or Guitar Fetish, who do a lot of that kind of stuff. If you go on the Guitar Fetish page and you look at their clearance section, they have a whole section of acoustic guitars. They claim to have bought out defunct warehouses and are just selling them really cheap. And you can see things like Rogue guitars on there. So Alan Eden and Guitar Fetish seem to be doing the same sorts of things, looking for opportunities to buy, leftover inventory from companies that are folding or going out of business or selling off warehouses, and then probably making a profit on them because they're getting them obviously cheaper than they're selling them to me for. But I make them playable. They come absolutely horrible. In fact, if most people bought these guitars from Alan Eden, I guarantee they'd be on the phone saying, you can take these back. These are in awful condition. But I've worked with them before and I know what to expect. I know that they come bowed. I know they come dried out. So I sort of condition them and do a very patient setup that takes a few days and get them playing. They're not absolutely perfect, but they make reasonable starter guitars for beginners, and they are solid top. So it's getting harder and harder to find a solid top guitar in, say, the 150 price range. It's just becoming a chore. When I started this channel, there were a few options, but the prices are going up, and it's becoming harder and harder. Solid top guitars are closer to $250 now, dollars, and probably the same in pounds. This one you have seen before. This is another of their cedar models, very dark cedar, and very slabby. It's got waves in it. It's not grade A cedar, AAA grade cedar at any length, but again, I fight with them, I wrestle them, I get them to play. This one, the saddle's not too bad. I had plenty of room to adjust this one. Had a couple of high frets that I had to level off. That seems to be the case with a lot of these. You get the relief back in the neck, you string them up, you play them, and then you have certain spots that buzz, and then when you get a fret rocker and go through, you find maybe 2-3 frets across that are high. You could do a complete fret level and recrown. However, I've had good success at just tackling those particular frets, getting them level with the ones around them, then recrowning them. And then the buzzes normally go away. And this one here, I set it up a couple days ago and it's already warming up. It's getting that cedar sound, and it is solid cedar, and it's a nice auditorium cutaway shape as well. Same headstock. Tommy means nothing. I mean, you might as well just scrub that off for all it means now. But you know how I am. I don't put a lot of stock in brand names anyway. A lot of these are made in the same factories, spec'd out with similar woods and parts, and a lot of times the people who are branding them are just distributors. I doubt whether the company Tommy, whatever it was, wherever in the world it was, made a single thing. They were probably just a distributor that bought these, in lots of hundreds of thousands and slapped their names on them and sold them. You see that all the time in this industry. So I don't put a lot of stock in what it says on here. It doesn't mean much to me. All I see is a solid cedar top guitar, nice mahogany, reasonable tuners, your standard tuners, nothing terrible. Plastic nut and saddle, but that can be redone, and a really good rosewood board with nice inlays. Frets are horrible, but that's something that can be sorted out, and these can be made into nice guitars. You go on Amazon and look for a solid cedar top guitar, and you won't find one under $200-300. You just won't. They're just not available. So to be able to offer a solid cedar guitar with a nice gig bag, for $150-160, and I put 2 hours of work into these, so it's not like I'm getting off on this. It's a good deal. It's just cedar is getting harder and harder to find in this price range, so that's why I grabbed a few of these. But anyway, I'm just sharing that experience with you. I think I bought the rest of the solid wood models off the company. They still have some plywood ones left. I don't know if I'll bother with those. And certainly you can go on eBay and find them on the Alan Eden website eBay page. If you want to do the work yourself, you can pick them up fairly cheap and get a nice guitar out of them. Meanwhile, I'll be selling ones that are already set up and play pretty well. So that's the deal on these. All right, folks. See you on the next one.